Chosen. No. Honk.
The third season of Cobra Kai landed with all the impact of a nuclear detonation, and it shaped up to become a pretty potent series thus far. Plenty of huge surprises were unveiled, including a cast of old faces, which made triumphant returns and helped to push the Karate Kid story forward. And it also ended with what might be the biggest powder keg explosion ever committed to TV, with an all-out brawl between Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do inside the LaRusso household. After the show's arrival on Netflix on New Year's Day, fans of Cobra Kai have already raced through season 3 and are now busy predicting what could be in the cards for season 4. The last chapter had spoiled us like a tray of Ferrero Rocher, and we can't wait for more. What? And who could possibly be in store for season 4? To help you sort through it all, we're going to run down the top 12 Cobra Kai season 4 secrets and speculations. You're not going to want to miss out on this. But before we continue, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as well as turning on post notifications so that way you don't miss anything else that we put up. Season 4 will most likely come out between January and April 2022. No release date has been revealed, but given that season 3 dropped on New Year's Day, we'll have to guess that season 4 would be sometime around 2022. Co-creator John Hurwitz had seemed to be thinking the same thing when a fan had asked him that on Twitter. Quote, "I don't have the answer, but would imagine season 4 will come out roughly a year after season 3, he wrote. It's also possible that the show could return to its previous spring release schedule. Keep in mind, season 3 of the show was originally filmed and planned to be released on YouTube, but they moved away from scripted television, allowing Netflix to claim the show for themselves. So, when the first 2 seasons were released in spring of 2018 and 2019, 2020 didn't have the opportunity to keep with that same pattern. Johnny and Daniel could butt heads on teaching. Johnny and Daniel might have united over a common enemy, but there is no way the journey forward will be smooth. The two are still at odds over a lot of things, and their natural tendency to butt heads on the smallest of issues is guaranteed to cause trouble at the Miyagi-Do moves forward. Expect both senseis to argue over the nature of karate and how and when to apply defense as well as offense to their teaching structure. Daniel's training with Chosen has caused his mind to be open to offensive techniques, but Johnny's brash Street Fighter attitude will still cause the equilibrium to falter. Could Tori defect to Miyagi-Do? Tori might be the bad girl, but it's becoming more and more apparent that she doesn't want to be that. Her tough exterior is a shell designed to mask the pain of a difficult family life where she's been forced to grow up way too fast, assume a mother role, and work 2 jobs to keep things stable. John Crease's intervention on her behalf may have gotten a landlord off her back, but it hasn't fixed any of the underlying problems. Until Tori learns that Cobra Kai is a death sentence, she's just going to continue to suffer. Eventually, it's going to come down to embracing Samantha as a friend and move into the light. Terry Silver returns. John Crease's phone call at the end of the final episode does leave little doubt as to who was on the other end. Many characters have already made their return to Cobra Kai, and Terry Silver, well, he's the next obvious candidate for a major season 4 reveal, especially in light of the Vietnam flashbacks that took place. Ironically, the character who dies during the Vietnam flashback scenes is the one who looks the most like a younger version of Terry Silver, which leaves the other character as a potential candidate. It still remains to be seen how this will be played out, but it's largely a given that Silver will return to terrorize Daniel all over again. We could also get a Mike Barnes return. If Chosen can make a shocking return to the Karate Kid franchise after the controversial second movie, then so too can Mike Barnes. This sociopathic karate champ made his debut in the 3rd movie and quickly became a nightmare opponent, far worse than either Johnny Lawrence or Chosen would ever hope to be. Not only was Barnes a much more skilled opponent, but he was able to terrify Daniel on a level that no one had managed before. If Terry Silver shows up in Cobra Kai, chances are Mike Barnes won't be too far behind. After all, Daniel cost Barnes a highly lucrative deal worth a lot of money, and chances are he's looking for payback, which undoubtedly he would end up taking on. It would also give Johnny an opportunity to save Daniel as repayment for stepping in during his brawl with Crease. Could Aisha make a return? Actress Nicole Brown was written out of season season 3 of the show, apparently due to the writers not being able to find a spot for her character in the script. As such, it was revealed that Aisha's parents ended up selling their house and moved out of the city following the violent events that shocked the community in the last season. The writers have indicated that Aisha can and probably will return if there's a place for her in season 4. It could very well be the perfect opportunity to have her character act as a key figure in the story arc, maybe building a bridge between Samantha and Tori while reminding everyone why she was a great fighter. Could John Kreese change his ways? Now this one is a bit of a long shot, but sooner or later, John Kreese will have to realize that he's batting for the wrong team. If he doesn't mend his ways, the character won't have grown beyond an inch since his debut in the first Karate Kid film. By this point, Kreese has lost multiple fights despite gaining ownership over Cobra Kai. His recent loss to Daniel is sure to rustle his feathers in a way that his defeat at the hands of Miyagi could never match. His character's flashbacks in season 3 are indicative of an interesting development in his character, but whether they're fleshed out or not, well, that remains to be seen. Could we see Johnny fight against Robbie? With so much animosity between Johnny and his son Robbie, it's a wonder if the two will ever reconcile. Robbie has been through the ringer several times since the series began. He's bounced back and forth between life as a misfit, a clear path to peace, and harmony as one of Daniel's students, and a bout of rage that landed him in the clink. Now that he's out on bail and under the tutelage of Johnny Kreese, his character is sure to fall hard before any opportunity for redemption pops up. Johnny and Robbie did get physical in the final episode of season 3, and it's easy to see them throw down again, this time with Kreese's Cobra Kai training thrown into the mix. We hope Miguel redeems Robbie. Miguel is the one character in the film that has conquered the most adversity. He went from being the victim of bullies to an all-valley karate champion before suffering an injury, which almost left him paralyzed. Yet, Miguel doesn't seem to harbor hatred or resentment in his heart towards Robbie, as evidenced by his friendly talk with Daniel. If Miguel can stay the path with Johnny and Daniel acting as support, there is a chance that he may be one to successfully lure Robbie away from Kreese's poisonous teachings. If so, it's becoming one of the best relationships of the entire series. The two will undoubtedly square off again in the upcoming All Valley tournament, which will decide not only Robbie's fate, but Cobra Kai's as well. John Kreese could go to jail. Kreese is pushing boundaries in a way that he never did before. Even his psychological and physical torment of Daniel Russo in the third Karate Kid film pales in comparison to sending the entire school to his house and destroying his property. Kreese was all too ready to murder Daniel at the end of season 3, which is indicative of just how far that he's willing to go. If Kreese can't change his ways and give up his destructive attitude, he's going to no doubt cross a line that he can't back out of. If he is willing to go so far as to murder another human being, then he's standing over a precipice that will require him to make one final and fateful decision. It's very possible he does make the wrong one. What if Johnny and Daniel go into business together? Fan excitement at seeing Daniel and Johnny staying side by side in Miyagi-Do at the end of season 3 might be premature. Not only are they going to argue a lot over how best to move forward with training, but there's no telling where they will end up once Cobra Kai and Johnny Kreese have been defeated. Still, it's highly profitable that Johnny and Daniel have both realized that their true calling lies in teaching new generations of kids the values of self-defense and confidence that come with martial arts training. There is a lot that both can learn from one another, and that can only spell a long-lasting relationship and collaboration for Johnny and Daniel. Not all of our key players are going to return. Cobra Kai isn't Cobra Kai with its two main characters, Johnny Lawrence and Daniel LaRusso. Also vital to the series are Miguel, Daniel's daughter, Samantha, wife, Amanda, and Johnny's son, Robbie Crease, who are all clearly returning. Hawk had a major change in season 3 and will certainly return for season 4 as well. Sensei John Kreese is probably the series' main villain, so he's gonna certainly be back. With season 3's appearance of Chosen and Allie, it's also fair to speculate which original film characters may finally make their return. With the hints from Kreese's military flashbacks and his phone call at the end of season 3, it does seem like Terry Silver, the main villain from Karate Kid Part 3, played by Thomas Ian Griffith, will play a role.